A bunch of huge new leaks just came out about Season of Discovery. What's going on, everybody? It's Buttadog, and today in this video we're going to be discussing all the new leaks we've just found out about Season of Discovery. From new world buffs, to new runes, to new profession recipes, and new info about Ashenvale PvP and Warsong Gulch. So let's jump into it. To kick things off, let's start at runes. So we just found out that almost every item slot is going to be available to have runes in it. From your chest, legs, hands, bracers, cloak, feet, helm, shoulder, and waist will all be able to have rune slots inside of it by the time you hit 60. Additionally, there were just some new rune types datamined in the PTR. For druids, they're getting efflorescence, everbloom, gale winds, natural reaction, renewal, and torrential downpour. For hunters, they'll be getting adder pheromone, deer musk, and engraved belt aspect of the lion. Paladins will be getting Path of Arthas. This isn't a rune, but rogues will be getting Privateer's Ornate Pistol, which is going to be used for some of the outlaw-esque moves they're adding to the game. And warriors will be getting Killing Machine and Gladiator Stance. If you're interested in learning more about these moves specifically, I've linked the Wowhead article that encompasses all of the tooltips for these moves in the description below. Next, let's move on to the new world buffs that were datamined. The first world buff that we found is Boon of Black Fathom. It increases critical chance of spells, melee, and range by 2%, grants 20 attack power, and increases movement speed by 20%. And that's a 2-hour duration. And then also the Ashenvale world buff had been datamined as well, called Ashenvale Rallying Cry. It increases all damage and healing done by 5% for 2 hours, which is pretty fucking nuts. Additionally, there were some other world buffs that were datamined, and it seems like they're going to be in like a shrine system. The world buffs from these shrines, the first one is Anointed by a Loon, which increases your overall intellect by 5%. The second one is Anointed by the Light, increasing your spirit by 5%. The third one is Anointed by the Loa, increases your stamina by 5%. And then Anointed by Undeath, which increases your armor by 5%. In Ashenvale specifically during the World PvP events, there's also two new buffs called Battlefield Genius and Battlefield Inspiration. Battlefield Genius, allies within 40 yards of the Priestess of the Moon gain 100% increased health and 50% increased damage, and the values are increased by each living keeper of the Grove in the Priestess army, each one granting 100% increased health and 50% increased damage. Battlefield Inspiration is the same thing. It's just allies within 40 yards of the battlefield leader gain 50% increased health and 20% increased damage. Next, let's move on to some of the new items that were datamined. First, we're going to talk about idols, librams, and icons. There were a bunch of new idol, librams, and icons that were datamined. I'm not going to go through the specifics of each one just because we don't know necessarily what the tooltip is for it. But just to name a few, the Ferocious Idol, Idol of Ursine Rage, Lunar Idol, Libram of Banishment, Libram of Judgment, Bulwark Icon, Classic Icon. I'll also include this in the description with the Wowhead article so you can read everything, but there isn't a whole lot of information there as you don't have the tooltip datamined yet. So we'll find out more about those, but just to know there are a bunch of new idols, librams, and icons that are coming. While we're talking about new items, we're going to stop for a bit and talk about the profession items that are there because I think this is super important. One of the first items for alchemy is called an Elixir of Coalesced Regret. It allows the imbiber to speak with the corpse of an individual with unfinished business in the mortal world and might also cure indigestion. For blacksmithing, there are new Black Fathom sharpening stones, which I can imagine is going to be from BFD, and sharpen weapon hit. While applied to the target weapon, increases hit chance by 2% for 30 minutes. This has no effect outside of Black Fathom depths. And then also a new breastplate, which is really interesting, called the Shifting Silver Breastplate. The unequipped is this item is infused with raw power of the void. When the bearer is attacked, this item has a high chance of inflicting a terrible curse, causing the attacker to take additional damage from all sources for 15 seconds. The proc chance is 25%, and additionally it gives you 1% hit. For enchanting, you get Black Fathom Mana Oil, which is increased mana regen and spell hit. So when applied to the target weapon, it restores 12 mana per 5 and increases spell hit by 2% for 5 minutes. Can't be used outside of Black Fathom Depths. For engineering, there's a new item called Shredder Auto Salvage Unit, and the on use just says salvage the wreckage of a shredder for spare parts. Not sure what that is. For leatherworking or some more epics, the Void Touch Leather Gauntlets, which increases your chance to hit by 1%, and the on use is Descend into Madness, increasing spell damage by 10%, as well increasing the threat you generate by 10 seconds. And then the Void Touch Leather Gauntlets again, 1% hit, increasing attack speed this time by 10%, as well increasing the threat you generate for 10 seconds. And for tailoring, you get the Extra Planar Spider Silk Boots. The on use is you momentarily enter another plane of existence, reducing threat as well as reducing all damage taken by 50% for 6 seconds. Another equipped is increases damage and healing done by magical spells and effect by 7, and improves your chance to hit with spells by 1%. Shifting gears here a bit, Blizzard announced at BlizzCon that they would be adding mounts to Ashenvale specifically for the World PvP events, and we just got their models. The first one is the Trainees Centennial Nightsaber, which is an unskinned black Nightsaber, which is really cool, and then the Trainees Outsider Wolf, which is a red unskinned one, which is the old models, really cool, kind of an ode to classic. And then finally, the last thing to cover are new Warsong Gulch items. The Resilient Cloth Headband, Resilient Leather Mask, and Resilient Mail Coif have all been data mined, which shows pretty much just a cloth, leather, and mail version of each. And the equip for each is it reduces all damage taken and a chance to be critically hit by 5% in Warsong Gulch. And that's all of the leaks that we have so far about Season of Discovery. Personally, I'm pretty stoked about all this. I think the new items, new professions, world PvP, etc. is going to be really, really dope. And I know it's going to be a lot of fun on the 30th. But who cares what I think? I want to know what you guys think. Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments below. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.